Hey guys, welcome to the last Pro Singer Success Collective of 2025 live video, live training, live. All right, here we are, and we're talking today about an exercise for big results in 2026. So, I don't know about you, but I remember being just starting out in my singing and dreading that moment at like a holiday dinner when the conversation invariably turns to you and you get that question. So, how's the singing going? What's happening with your music? When are you performing? When's your record coming out? And you feel yourself completely contract because you don't have much on the horizon and you're so tired of trying to answer that question without judging yourself as a complete failure. And as you know, we look back at the last year of the singing career, it really sucks to realize that you're not any closer to what you want. So it's time to get clear on what you can do to finally see the results that you want. So in this live, I'm going to guide you through a really powerful exercise to spark intention and change in your voice and in your career in 2026. So if you're super committed to making an impact this coming year, this is the place to start. And so what happens is, to me, I tend to get reflective as I come to the end of the year. It's like you've got this one precious life, this one journey, and only so much time on this planet. And it's like, okay, how are you spending it? And this is a question that I revisit every time I complete a year in review. And this is something that I do in my own journey every year. This is something I direct our singers in our intensive training program to do at the end of each year. And it's so important to look back, celebrate your wins, acknowledge your growth, and extract the lessons so that you can set the right targets for your singing and your singing journey in the upcoming year. So, I don't know how you guys feel. This to me did not feel like an ordinary year. Like, I don't know, this year felt kind of like a doozy to me. I just felt like things were being thrown at me and there was ups and downs and incredible things, hard things, things that my 2010 self would probably lose her mind over. And there's a quote that I like, which I will share with you before we get into the exercise, which is, people tend to overestimate what can be done in a month and underestimate what can be done in a year. So today, I hope you'll discover how true this statement really is. So in honor of this year, 2025, being over and bringing some new intention and new energy to 2026, I want to walk you through this special year in review exercise. So it's a 3-part exercise that uses what I'm going to call the untapped wisdom of your last year to make the next year your best ever, more powerful, better results. And I've tweaked the exercise a little bit so that you can focus on these things that are really relating to your singing, your voice, your career, and your artistic journey. And so each section is short, it's easy to execute. You can complete them all in one setting, or you can take your time and you can do one section per day. And a lot of you have time off starting this weekend for the next 2 weeks. It's a great time of year to do this. Use these exercises as a yearly planning tool because you've got a year full of possibilities ahead of you for your singing, for your career. And so this year, the year in review, cannot speak. The year in review I'm going to walk you through right now is going to help you to make the most of it. So I'm going to put a link in the chat in Facebook and in the comments in YouTube. And this is a link to the PDF of this year in review exercise. So here's in the comments PDF. All right. So there it is in YouTube, and here it is in Facebook. Okay, so this is the PDF that I want you to use. It's going to guide you, and I'm going to walk you through the sections now. You can download the PDF later. You can listen to me explain and then download it. You can download it now, whatever works. Okay, so let's dive in. I want you to grab a journal. I want you to grab a pen. And I want you to follow these prompts. So section 1 is what you're proud of. So, what have you done over the past year in your singing life that you are proud of? The wins that you had, the challenges that you've overcome, the obstacles that you've made it past, okay? Like what are some of the results that you have created in your singing in your career this past year in 2025? And even if you had a really hard year, think about what you can come up with. Find the wins. Think about any performances, any auditions, recordings, opportunities that you either took advantage of or you created for yourself. So in order to do this, I want you to pull out old journals, old calendars, old emails, photos to jog your memory. Maybe go through your Instagram feed, go through your YouTube, go through your old calendar. Like it may take some time, but it's totally worth it because we have to celebrate what we did. Even if things were hard, even if you feel you didn't do what you wanted to do, you still did things that you are proud of. And I want you to log them. So that's the first section. Then you're gonna move into what was most important and why. So once you're done, I want you to go back over all the lists of the things that you are proud of. And I want you to see if out of everything that you listed, what was most important. I want you to circle whatever jumps out to you. And why was that most important? Write it down. Because when you know the things that have made the biggest impact and the biggest difference in your singing and the career and the journey that you're creating, then you're going to be so much more able to make wiser decisions as you plan the next year. You're going to do more of the things that you were proud of, more of the things that got you there, that lit you up, okay? But if we don't identify what that is, then you're just moving into 2026 kind of flailing, right? So log what was the most important of those things you were proud of and why. All right. Then moving to section 2, we're gonna go and review our learnings. So what are the most important things that you have learned over the past year with respect to your singing, your career, your artistic journey? This is all about logging those pieces of wisdom. So what wisdom through that has become crystal clear to you? Write it down. Again, I don't expect you to write this all down now. This is stuff that I'm walking you through and explaining to you the why behind it so that you can grab a cup of your favorite hot chocolate this weekend and take a half an hour of me time and like actually spend some time going over this year in review, okay? So what are your learnings? What wisdom has become really clear to you? What mistakes did you make? And what did you learn from them? So think it through, write them all down, big and small, okay? Some of the smallest things might be full of the biggest ahas and biggest wisdom. Now, for this section of your learnings, you're gonna look at the list you just created and you're gonna log what was most important of these learnings and why. So look at the list you created and ask these 3 questions of these learnings. What lessons were the biggest game changers for you? Could be in your technique, could be in your mindset, could be in an experience that you're like, wow, I'm not gonna do that again. Or could be an experience that was like, oh, I did that exactly the way I needed to. I'm gonna remember this, whatever it may be. So what lessons were the biggest game changers for you? And why did these matter to you? Why these? And then what do you really want to remember from this as you move into your brand new year in 2026, right? What do you want to remember? It might be, I want to remember that it's not personal if somebody doesn't like my voice. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Nobody is. If you remember that learning that you got this year made a big difference because it allowed you to go to way more auditions and put yourself out there more, then that is critical for you to take into 2026 so that you continue to put yourself out there, right? So that's an example. This section is crucial, you guys. Review it often so that you can avoid the same traps, the same pitfalls, the same mistakes. Okay, so that is the whole first section. Remember I said this is 3 sections. So the first section is what you're proud of, right? It's what you're proud of, it's your learnings, what was most important and why the wisdom. Now, the second part is releasing your past. So part 2 is all about letting go of the things that just pull you down, drag you down, so that you're not carrying all of that weight into 2026, and you can plan the next year with a really clear purpose and a clear mind. Trust me, you will feel so much better and so much lighter and so much freer when you're done. So get out your journal and you're going to follow these prompts when you do it. First section, what are you willing to let go of? What is the beliefs that don't serve you, the old stories that serve you, the technique that ain't working, right? What are you willing to let go of? And you're going to create 3 separate lists under this section. This might take a little time, but it is so worth it, guys. You cannot change the things that you are not aware of. So this is all about building awareness so that you move into 2026 way more powerfully. So the first section of things that you are willing to let go of is looking at old projects and old goals. So are there any projects that you keep meaning to do in your singing but that you haven't really made time for? Any projects that you keep meaning to do in your career, in your vocal, in your singing career, things that are like, I should do this type of goals that you keep putting off? Or maybe there's expectations that family or loved ones or even yourself have put on you that aren't really true on your heart anymore. Like maybe you've been telling yourself, I should release an album. And it's been like 3 years that you've been telling yourself that, okay? So old goals and old projects, they're kind of like leftovers in the fridge. It's food that you bought, it sounded good at the time, you meant to eat it, but it's just not good anymore and it's just taking up valuable space. So this is a list that is an opportunity for you to look at what's in your mental fridge and parse what's important still and what's just an old goal that's like taking up mental room that you just don't need, so that you can go in and rock 2026 without all of those, stinky shoulds cluttering up your fridge, your heart and your mind, okay? So that's the first. What old projects and old goals just don't fit anymore that you can let go of? Now, what resentments, anger, upsets are you still holding on to? Are there any? Any resentments, any upsets you're still holding on to from this past year? Do you have any old emotional baggage that you are ready to release? Is there anybody, any person that you need to forgive, including yourself? Any of these things, these resentments, these upsets, the people who you feel have wronged you, the experiences that you feel that you've been holding on to that put you in that not good enough space that you've been, buying into. What are you ready to let go of in 2026 with respect to all of these things and how they play out in your voice, in your singing career, in your journey? I want you to be super honest and write it down. Like, even if you don't know how to forgive or how to let go, this is the moment. As long as you're willing, you will find out a way. So naming and acknowledging, that is the first step towards healing. You guys, we sing with our body. Our body is our instrument. Sound is a form of energy. Our body has to be the most open channel of energy for that sound energy to move through and impact your audience. And if you are holding on to all of this stuff, that really blocks the channel of the energy, and it makes it impossible for you to make the best possible sound with the biggest impact. So this is just 25 years of saving singers' voices and career speaking. So what resentments, anger, upsets are you willing to let go of? And take it a step further. What about limiting beliefs or crappy old stories that you've been carrying for the past year when it comes to your singing career, your artistic journey? Are you still holding on to some old stories that just don't serve you, to old limiting beliefs that don't serve you? What excuses have you been attaching to that are holding you back from singing your best and making an impact with your voice at a level that you want? Those excuses could be, I don't have time, I don't have the money, I don't look like a pop star, I don't know, the excuses, I'm too old, right? There's a million. What excuses have you been attaching to that are holding you back? Write them down. What are the crappy old stories that you continue telling yourself about all of that which no longer serve you. Get clear. For example, maybe you've been telling yourself that now you're too old to follow this passion. Maybe you're done believing the story that it's all been said before, all been done before. Everybody's written the song. Nobody needs to hear me, right? That's a crappy story too. Maybe it's time to put that old crappy story that you're too old, you're not good enough, you're not capable enough, not original enough. Maybe it's time to put those to rest once and for all. Remember, you are so much more powerful and capable than you give yourself credit for. So this is your opportunity to let go of all of that stuff, negative thoughts and limiting beliefs that are just clouding your energy and your mind garden and holding you back from getting where you want to go with your singing. Do this work now, guys, so that this stuff does not control you in 2026. So now, once you're done with looking at old projects and goals, resentments, old resentments, anger and upsets, limiting beliefs and old crappy stories, I want you to go back over each of these little subsections and get clear on what's the most important to let go of and why. So you're going to look at these lists and you're going to circle, what are the most important things for me to let go of? What are the things that give me the biggest bang for my buck if I am just willing to leave them in 2025? And then you're going to ask yourself, why? Why is it vital that you let go of these things now? Like, what have these resentments, these old fears, these goals, these old limiting beliefs, what have they cost you over the last year to continue to hang on to? Are there any experiences or any achievements that you have not experienced as a result of holding on to these things? So I want you, when you get to this section, I want you to write as much as you want. Remember that purpose fuels persistence. And this is really helping you to get clear on all of that. Okay, so that wraps up the section 2. Now, we're going to move into the last section, the third section, part 3, which is creating your plan for 2026. So now that you've laid the groundwork, this is the fun part, which is figuring out what's next. So get ready to fire up that imagination, tap into your heart, because part 3 is where you are going to start to visualize, dream for the next year of your voice and your singing. So you're going to ask yourself, what's next? What's my future? So what do you want to create? What do you want to experience? What do you want to achieve over the next year in terms of these 6 buckets? Vocal technique, your performances, your creative artistry, your career outcomes and financial abundance from your singing, your recordings, if that applies to you, your auditions, if that applies to you. So I want you to think about what you want to create, achieve, experience in these buckets. And then I want you to think about how you want to feel doing these things on a more consistent basis. Do you want to experience more freedom, more confidence, more consistency, more trust? How else do you want to feel when you sing, when you audition, when you record, when you pitch for gigs, when you say, yes, my rate, $1,000 for a 3-hour set? How do you want to feel? And you're going to write it down. And guys, the goal here is to be as specific as possible, as concrete as possible, because specificity is where the fun and the juice is. It's where your energy starts to get behind it. Like saying, I want to make a full-time living doing what I love, singing. Okay, that's good. But being able to say, I want to be able to charge $1,000 a gig, do that 3 times a week, bring in $12,000 a month, buy the car that I wanted, watch my parents eat their words at the fact that you can't make a living being a professional singer, right? Like, that's starting to feel a lot more fun and a lot more juicy, right? Because you're specific and that energizes you. So I want you to envision the best possible year of your life with your singing and let yourself really dream. Do not underestimate what you can achieve. Then you're going to move into the section on targets. And you're going to identify your top 3 most important targets for next year. So you're going to go back over your list of what you want to create, the technique, the performances, the artistry, the auditions, the recordings, right? Go back over that list and you're going to answer these questions. What are the 3 most important targets you want to focus on over the next 12 months? Circle them now. Only 3. I know there's a lot of you who are going to want to be like, oh, but this is important. Oh, but that's important. Nope, that's overwhelm. You're setting yourself up for overwhelm. What are the 3 most important targets for next year? The 3 that will give you the biggest bang for your buck in your singing career when you achieve them. And you're going to circle them. And then I want you to write down, why are each of these 3 goals important to you? Why? What does it give you? What does it allow you to do? Have. Experience. Okay? Then, this is really important, this next question. Who do you need to become in order to bring each of these goals to life? So what character traits, habits, skills do you get to embody and develop in order to accomplish this? So who do you need to become and what do you need to condition? I need to become fearless. I need to become playful. I need to become confident. I need to become consistent, whatever that is, okay? And then, what action steps can you take to support yourself in developing these new habits and traits? What action steps do you get to take to develop these? And if there are skills involved that you feel you don't have, the next question is, what action steps do you need to take to get help building the skills that you need to develop this beautiful list of things you want to achieve, okay? So when we do this way, every year in this very intentional exercise, it helps you break down your vision, your dreams, your targets, your goals, like one at a time. And I always say, if you want a different result, you got to be willing to do things differently. If you do not want 2026 to look the same as 2025, and maybe for a lot of you, 24, 23, 22, then you got to be willing to do things differently. Because if you do it the same, you're just going to get the same result. So allow this year in review exercise to show you what's been working and what's not, so you have super clarity on what areas need attention, what areas are working, what areas need a different strategy, right? Because a year may seem like a really long time, but it can also go by like in the blink of an eye. And that is, this year felt really fast to me. So doing this exercise has brought up some difficult emotion because this year did go fast and you don't feel any closer to your targets and dreams than you did last year. It's okay. Bring some compassion to yourself. That's why you're doing this exercise. So see it for the opportunity that it is to do this year differently in 2026 with wisdom and with intention and attention this time. So now we're going to move into the 5th section, which is what future you wants you right now to know. So now that you've got the logistical and tactical targets and vision and dream written down, you're going to do one final thing. And it's a very highly imaginative, I think, fun exercise to tap into your internal wisdom. So I want you to imagine yourself 10 years into the future, 2036. Wow, that feels like a long time, right? 2036, 10 years from now. And I want you to write a letter from 2036 you to current day you, December 2025 you. And it can start something like this. Dear Arden, I would love for you to know that, and then I want you to just let your hand move and write whatever comes to mind. Don't judge it, don't edit it, don't pay attention to grammar, spelling, punctuation. Just trust me, you've got so much natural wisdom and knowing within you, and I just want you to let it flow. Dear Arden, this is 2036 you talking. I would love for you to know that. And if you get stuck, here's some prompts that you can experiment with. I'd love for you to remember. I'd love for you to start. I'd love for you to focus on, right? And I know this might feel like a little weird, but it's super powerful stuff because it helps you to access deep truths that you know intuitively that you'll be really glad you articulated right now before the next 10 years passes, right? So you're going to write that letter to yourself. Dear Arden, I would love for you to know that you are enough, that if you just stay in the footwork and let go of the outcome and put one foot in front of the other, your voice will align so much better than it does when you're trying to prove how good you are. I would love for you to know that if you don't start investing in your training and in your dreams, you're just gonna stay where you are with no new inputs, which give you no new outputs, right? Like, I'm just giving you an example. Just let it flow, okay? So, when you have completed all 3 sections of this series, what you have is a really incredible treasure map of personal wisdom that's really gonna help you make the next year of your singing and your singing career so much more productive, joyful, meaningful. And your time matters. So by doing this work, what you're actually doing now is setting yourself up to have the best year ever to come, to keep going, to honor that wisdom within, which is what will guide you in the actions that you take over the next year, so you're not taking actions out of the old beliefs, the old upsets, the old targets that don't serve, okay? So I have put this year in review in a PDF that I'm gonna post here in the comments in a minute. So you're gonna take some me time over the next few days, click on the link in the comments, download it, grab your journal, maybe some tea or some hot cocoa or your favorite wintertime cozy beverage, and you're gonna examine what you've accomplished and what you want moving into 2026. And I'll just say this, like on a more personal note, as you do this powerful exercise, if you're realizing that you've been accepting too many excuses over the last year, engaging with too many limiting beliefs, buying into too many fears, and you can really see how all of this has prevented you from blossoming into your talent and your voice and your career at the level you want, please know it is not too late to shift. If after looking at the patterns of your last year, you realize that your way is not working, and that after a year, or for some of you, many years of doing it the only way that you know how, you're still not at the level you want to be in your singing, and you're ready for a proven strategy that will give you a new set of tools and a new foundation to build success on, then book a call with me. You guys hear me invite you to do this every time I'm live. So what are you waiting for? Can I just hardcore you for a second? Like, are you waiting for another year to go by of birthdays celebrated where you're just like, damn, a whole nother year has passed and I'm like still at my crappy side job instead of singing for a living? Another year, you want another year of all that self-doubt after you release your latest EP to the same lackluster number of spins and plays, like nobody's paying attention, no impact, right? Are you waiting for another year of like crippling nerves sabotaging your auditions and performances and preventing you from singing the way you know you can and getting the gig? And then that dread, like I was talking about, of like being asked, how's the singing going? How's the music going? And that immediate feeling of like sinking failure because you don't have anything new to say. And then you're watching other singers who you know, who are just as talented as you are, get the gigs instead of you, and that frustration because you have no idea why. And you're wondering, like, will it ever be my turn as you watch the clock tick to another month, another year? And now as we come into New Year's, you want another New Year's resolution of like, this year will be different. This year I'll finally make things happen. And now here we are at 2027 and like nothing has changed. You guys, I'm hardcoring you here because I believe in you, but sometimes you need a kick in the butt. I got news for you. And I say this because I care not to be harsh, but nothing will be different until you are. Hear me. Nothing will be different until you are and until you decide to do things differently. So what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for another year of like thinking about it? thinking about changing your training, thinking about doing things that get you better results, another decade to pass while you're like trying to figure it out, you've been doing that. And if you're not getting the results you want and you're seeing, then it is time to empty your cup and fill it with a new strategy. Guys, life is way too short to waste any more time on things that are not working. Look how fast this last year went. So reach out, book a call with me, get on my calendar for the first week of January. We'll get on the phone, we'll chat for about 45 minutes, and we're going to talk about what's working, what's not working in your singing, in your technique, in your journey. We're going to get clarity on what you want, where you want to go, the gap between where you are and where you want to go, and what's been preventing you from getting there. And if I think that I can help you, I will 100% let you know the steps that we take our singers with that get them across the finish line. And if not, then I'll steer you to something else that I think can. So don't waste another year or, God forbid, another decade. Book a call with me and let's get you moving into 2026 with a strategy and a support that works. So I'm dropping the link into the chat. Here we go. Book a call. There you go. You guys, seriously, like, give this as a gift to yourself. There is no reason. And by the way, like, if you decide that you don't want to work with us and it's not a fit, that's okay. But at least get the knowledge of what is out there that could possibly help you. Don't be shy. All right. So I put it in the comments, both on the video comments on YouTube and in the post comments on Facebook. All right, you guys. So use this. This is the exact same year in review that I am about to go coach our singers in the intensive training program on. These are singers who, like you, are super committed. The only difference is that they're in our intensive training program being able to move the needle in 4 months, okay? So I'm giving you the same thing that we give them so you can get on the ball too. All right. Have a wonderful holiday season. Happy, merry everything. Have an amazing new year. And I will be back here the first week of January in our Pro Singer Success Collective with more live trainings, more workshops, more 60-second singing tips, more longer form mindset work for you guys. And I hope that you have just a wonderful holiday with everybody who means the most to you. Sending love from me and my family to you. Bye, everybody.